So wildfires have been affecting man ever since we've been interacting with nature, and today is no exception. Once a wildfire begins to pick up steam, it will just continue and continue to grow in size until somehow or some way it would run out of fuel. But in today's society, we have built plenty of fuel in the sense of houses which are packed full of wood frames and insulation, which just fuel the fire more and more. On June 12, 2018, the small tourist town of Moab, Utah was struck with a wildfire. That fire started out in a small Greenland area, which soon spread to its first house. Within less than an hour, the house was completely consumed and the wildfire was quickly growing and spreading to a nearby apartment complex. This apartment complex was full of families and all their possessions. Their livelihood and everything they invested in were all in these houses that was hanging on by a thread by just a simple little concrete sidewalk protecting them from a massive fire growing in size. A total of 8 houses were destroyed and 13 properties were affected in the Moab fires. Families' entire way of life was completely shattered to the point where local hotels had to offer empty and vacant rooms in order to house these people. With their homes completely gone, they had nowhere to go and nowhere to turn to. Wildfires don't just destroy nature, they destroy people's lives.
As Jared mentioned, the wildfire that struck the small town of Moab, Utah, consumed over 13 personal properties. The fire chief of Summit County, Jeff Barino, said there was no evidence that these wildfires had been caused by lightning strikes, and local youth came forward to confess to the misuse of fireworks. Wildfires like this contribute to the loss of multiple people's homes, belongings, and properties, which is a big issue for the environment and for the people who live there. The environmental issue of wildfires destroying property is caused by 2 main factors: lightning strikes and human-started fires. The Carnegie Institute of Science were given records by the U.S. government to analyze wildfire data to figure out what the leading cause of wildfires is, which turned out to be human-ignited wildfires. This scientific graph from the Carnegie Institute of Science shows the difference between human-ignited wildfires and lightning-ignited wildfires. The more red dots in these areas here show the more human-ignited wildfires, and the blue ones are the ones more by natural causes like lightning strikes. You can see that there are a lot more red dots all over in the map in the United States versus the blue dots. And this shows the conclusion of Carnegie Institute of Science students, which was that 84% of all wildfires in the United States between the years 1992 and 2012 have been caused by humans rather than other natural causes like lightning strikes.
In most cases of wildfires, people don't really see the benefits of the fire until after the fact that the fire's already happened. Besides the fact of them possibly destroying homes and also ruining neighborhoods and other places of living, the wildfires need to happen for the environment. During the regeneration process of the plants, some plants have thick bark that protects the living tissue on the inside so that it's easier for them to regrow after and survive the fire that's already happening. Most plants that have deeply embedded roots and also have reservations of water that they've sucked in and saved, they also have a better and easier regeneration process and also have a more likely process of surviving the fire. The ashes from the fire, they create a better nutrition source for the plants during the regeneration process, so it gives them more nutrients and helps them grow healthier and stronger in the future for the environment. As these plants grow and also allow new plants to grow, they also bring in new species of animals, and they also get rid of the weeds and unnecessary non-native invasive species of plants. It will take a minute for the forest to get back to its old/new self, but in the end it'll create a better ecosystem and bring better life to the forest in the future. We're going to my process of the regeneration of the plants. These are my pretty plants, and this is the plants before the fire happens, and then boom, someone or something in the environment causes a fire, and then these are the dead trees that just died. Some of them survived, some of them don't. Okay, these are baby plants that are regrowing, and then this is our ash, and it's making them grow. You see the different colors, the health, and just liveliness of the plants.
As a society, we are responsible for bringing awareness to fire prevention. One way that individuals can help is to prepare for wildfires like they would any other natural disaster. Being more prepared means that the government and homeowners would have to spend more time and money to build with natural fires in mind when dealing with land that is more fire-prone. Another way would be to not build in fire-prone areas anymore. There are areas that are restricted to build on due to natural disasters like floods and landslides, but there are not areas restricted because of fires. The government needs to take a stricter stance on where people can build. We should look at our position in the environment and realize what we can and cannot control.
So as I mentioned before, there are continuously more and more limited solutions to the unnecessary, to the unbalance of wildfires in our population. Between nature's necessary fires being stopped and the unnecessary fires spreading far beyond our control, it's super evident that the drop in the bucket approach that has to be taken on by individuals isn't going to be enough, and that we have to start working from a higher level. Individual businesses have some of the largest parts that play in the emission of greenhouse gases that play the biggest role in and have the strongest hand in the unnecessary wildfire causation. So we need to start to work the system from the other way. It is important to make individuals passionate about the prevention of wildfires in order to keep our communities safe. But in line with what we must do there, we also must raise awareness with those who currently have the largest effect on our ecosystems, and that comes down to our businesses and our companies and our factories. Much of the incentive for the businesses in the United States, at least, to improve their carbon emissions will have to come from the federal level. And we'll talk a little bit about that more later on, but a large part of creating change at this level will come from the support of individuals. We have to be aware of where we are spending our money, and we have to be able to play that from an individual level and from a federal level to make a difference in the businesses.
Wildfires are a really tricky issue to tackle because on one hand, we do need wildfires to kind of clean up the environment and spur growth. But on the other hand, they can be really dangerous when they hit human residential areas. The solution's going to be very difficult. There's a fine balance that we have to maintain. And it's not going to be just the government, it's going to be a process that everyone's going to need to be involved in. Our solution breaks down really into three main parts. Our solution is going to minimize injury and property damage caused by wildfires. We're going to respond to dangerous wildfires rapidly when they do happen, and we'll prevent them where we can and make them manageable when we do, using technologies and other government codes. The most important outcome of our solution is preventing damage to homes and preventing injuries to people. Some things that we can consider. When we're planning our new residential areas, we should consider the area we're in. Is it susceptible to wildfires or not? Is it susceptible to fire damage? If it is, then we should strongly consider not building in those areas. It seems like an obvious solution, but in Los Angeles, from the years 1990 to 2010, over 80,000 new homes have been built in areas that are deemed unsafe due to wildfire danger. Another really simple measure that we can pass is just controlling who lights fires and where we light them. Between the years 1992 and 2012, it's estimated about 84% of wildfires were caused by negligent handling of fire by humans. Simply controlling who burns what and where can be a big positive step forward in preventing wildfires that are dangerous. A big step in controlling wildfires and keeping them from getting out of control is to be able to see them when they're happening as opposed to when it's too late, which is when people actually see them. We have systems actually in the sky already orbiting the Earth. It's called the Fire Urgency Estimator in Geosynchronous Orbit, or FUEGO. FUEGO has the ability to use sensors and algorithms to detect smoke movement and higher temperatures in areas that are more prone to wildfires, making them an invaluable tool in detecting them early. It's important that no matter what solution we do pick, though, that we do allow for wildfires to still happen. Remember that wildfires do have an actual positive benefit for the environment. They help maintain the environment, they clean it up, and they spur new growth. Sorry.
This is so nerve-wracking.
I'm sorry.
Cut that out.